I wanted to create a linear pattern that would increment parts. Rather than dimensioning each of these by themselves, I knew how much I wanted the increments to go up, so I just created variables to do the work for me. So to do this, you'll need 4 variables, at least in this situation. So my initial sketch is based off 2 variables. I have a diameter and a distance. The diameter is initially 0, and then I have this next one, which is the diameter plus 1. And this is whatever you want your increment to be for each additional part on the pattern. And the distance, I have initial condition of 0, and then I just have the distance plus the diameter. So that makes this 1 millimeter away and a diameter of 1 millimeter. So you'll need 4 variables or more depending on how many different things you want to change during each iteration. So for the pattern, you'll need to go to feature pattern. You'll need to include the diameter and the distance, and make sure you include the equation, not the initial condition. And you'll have the sketch and the extrude. And also make sure reapply features on here. And you can set the distance to 0 for now. If you set it to 0, it'll base everything off of your initial point. If you say you set this to 2 millimeters, it would move this line over by 2 millimeters and then base all the distances off this line for this one. For the next iteration, it'll base it off of this line, and so on and so forth. Right now, we'll just go with 0. And just make sure you have reapply features. So what that does, it runs through all of these things and updates the variables for each additional part. So step through this. This part right here, the second one, the way it got to 2 millimeters is because this initial diameter was already updated to 1, and this equation is the diameter plus 1. So that makes this 2 millimeters. This distance is 3 millimeters from the center point here to this line. And that's because this distance is based off the diameter plus the distance. So the diameter is 2, and the distance is 1. So that gives 3. You'll see that here. So for the third iteration, the diameter is already 2 because this linear pattern feature is running through these iterations and updating variables. So the diameter is 2. So that makes this diameter 2 plus 1, which is 3. This distance right here is 6 because the distance is already 3, because during the iteration of the pattern, the reapplying of the feature, it updated the variable. So since this distance is 3 and this diameter is 3, it makes this distance 6, because this distance is the diameter plus the distance. So for the next one, this diameter is 4 because the variable updated to 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. This distance is 10 because this distance is 6. The diameter is 4, and it updates to 10 because this distance is the diameter plus the distance. And each of these variables gets updated every time it reapplies the feature, which helps you increment things. Now back to this, like I was saying, if this is too close for you, you put a 5 in there. And every time this pattern runs again, it'll move the sketch over 5 millimeters and then base the distance off 5 millimeters to the right.